Good afternoon. This is Richard with NOLA Sports Beat. I wanted to come to you today. I wanted to talk a little bit about tight end production outlook for 2018. 2017, from a New Orleans Saints standpoint of tight end production, was one of their worst in the Sean Payton era. They had Coby Fleener played 11 games. He had a concussion that knocked him out, so that kind of derailed him a little bit. And he had 22 receptions with 295 yards. The group as a whole had 472 yards on 44 receptions. That is by far the lowest since 2006 when they had Peyton's first year, 409. Why is that? Some of it is player personnel. I mean, in 2006, they had Billy Campbell. They had guys that you wouldn't even really remember. And, while Fleener is not a guy, he came as a high-dollar guy. It's not like that they were all underneath on that. He certainly hasn't lived up to what they expected him to be. Some of it was also the fact that, your two running backs, Alvin Kamara had 81 receptions and Ingram had 53. That takes probably a lot of place of it, but I still think that the Saints, especially on the third down production being lower, certainly wanted more out of that. So they put it on a priority this year that they wanted to make sure that tight end was maybe not a must, but it was on the list. And for whatever reason, for lack of second round pick, they didn't get a tight end like they thought. They were looked at to be targeting one, and they didn't get one. Not only that, they went ahead and probably for concussion reasons mainly, cut Coby Fleener. And what that left them with was really, not having a very big veteran presence on the field or in the locker room. So what do? They go ahead and they get a familiar face in Benjamin Watson, who in 2017 had 61 receptions for 522 yards and 4 TDs. And that was with Flacco, who's not historically known to put up big tight end numbers. So I'll say that even if Watson comes in, and we know he has great chemistry with Brees and just does what he did last year, it'll increase where they are. So I actually am optimistic. I know he's older. I know he's had injury concerns, but I think that 61-5-22 with 4 TDs, I think not only is that doable, I think he'll kind of push that, into the 70 range. I would say that's fair. The other thing that I wanted to point out as well, and I know, when you got players like this, but he's taken a while to develop, and I think he's the kind of guy they like. Josh Hill, he didn't have a great season. I think he had 22 catches or something like that. It was about similar to what Fleener had. Maybe he had 16. I don't know the stats, but I do know that in the 2 playoff games that they had, he had 6 catches, 103 yards, and a TD. I look to that to be more where I think they're going to do. I think you're going to see Watson. You've got the blocking tight end. You do have a couple rookies in there that maybe, but I wouldn't count much on that. I'd say you're going to look at Watson, Hill, and Houshmandzadeh will be as a main blocking guy, and he'll probably get a couple catches here and there. Will be the main bulk, and I think we will see an increase in production out of tight end this year. I just think it's going to be natural. I think that teams are going to be looking to take away Alvin Kamara and Ingram underneath and at least limit those catches a little bit. So I would look, and I think Watson's good. He's trustworthy. I think on third downs, I think that he had really good chemistry with Brees, and I think that they will bring that together. Look, this week I'm going to talk a little bit more. We're going to get into as we've got the kind of final of this many OTAs and mini camp comes up. I'm going to take a couple looks at the running back position just to see where they are with Ingram in that 4-game suspension, as well as the wide receiver position that's pretty tight, and it's going to be tough. That 4th and 5th spot are going to be pretty competitive to make when you look at this. So we'll take a look at that later this week. Take care.